Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey. Today I am filming one of the biggest videos on my channel I've done yet, and that is my top 10 fragrances for life. Now these are fragrances that I can't live without at this moment in my life. Now this could definitely change. I mean, I'm testing new fragrances every single month, so my opinion on fragrances is always changing, constantly evolving. I'm always discovering new fragrances, falling in love with new fragrances, but as of right now, these are my top 10 for life. I've made a lot of fragrance discoveries this year compared to last year especially. I've added a lot of new scents to my collection, which I'm really happy about. I found some new lifers. Everybody knows this one. I finally added it to my collection. I never had it before because I just wasn't super impressed by it, but that was until I actually tested it out on my own skin, and that is Delina Exclusif from Parfums de Marly. So this is super popular in the fragrance community and in the world in general. I think this is one of the most popular fragrances that you will find online when it comes to fragrance reviews. This is just extremely feminine. It's pretty. It's just a stunning, beautiful rose and lychee scent. I know a lot of women have this in their collection, and it's something that they hold very dearly to them because it is just very special. It feels almost regal. You kind of feel like a princess when you're wearing this, and it looks like a princess fragrance even. I really love the detail that goes into these bottles with the tassel and the cap. There's a crystal on top, so this is just a very special scent to me. Every time I wear this, I just feel beautiful. I feel confident and pretty, and we should all feel like that every day. But this is the fragrance that really brings that out in me, and I think I'll always have this one. So right now, this is in my top 10, number 10. The next fragrance is also really special to me. It was one of the first fragrances I got in my fragrance journey, you could say. This like kind of catapulted me into growing my collection, and that is Alien from Mugler. This is a reformulation of the original. The original was the Thierry Mugler until they switched it over. They're now owned by L'Oreal, so it's not as potent, it's not as strong and dark of a scent, but it is still dark enough that I love it. It has this dark jasmine scent. It's very andalic, kind of animalic almost. It's very mysterious, sexy. This is a great going out fragrance. There's something very addictive and alluring about this. This is definitely going to get you compliments. People will follow you wearing this scent. I have received the most compliments I've ever gotten from wearing this fragrance right here. This is just an absolute gem, and I will definitely always have this in my collection. It's a heavy jasmine scent, but then you also have cashmere, so it's woody, it's a little bit ambery at the same time. It's just absolutely the most unique designer fragrance on the market, and I think it always will be. It is my number 9, Alien. One of my favorite fragrance houses is Xerjoff. It's an Italian niche house, and I had to put one in here because, as some of you may know, I have a huge Xerjoff collection. It's a house that's very special to me. I discovered them in 2020 during the pandemic and never looked back. So the one I had to choose is Erba Pura. This is the scent that I don't think I could live without. There are some fragrances that, you know, I could see myself doing without, although I love all of the Xerjoff fragrances that I own. This one, I just know, I don't know what I would do without this. It's juicy, it's fruity, it's musky. This is definitely a beast mode fragrance. The strongest fruity fragrance I've ever tried, and I have tried a lot these days, but this still stands at number 1 on the fruity fragrance for me. Even compared to God of Fire, this one is just number 1 for me. And it also reminds me of my boyfriend because he does wear this, and this is one of his like signature scents. So it also makes me think of him whenever I wear it or whenever I smell it. This is another fragrance that if you want to be noticed, this is the one for you, Erba Pura, number 8. I feel like I'm saying all of these are special to me because they just are. I mean, hence why they're in my top 10 list. But this one Oh boy, this was a love at first sniff, and I actually blind bought this, you guys. Like, I did not test this out, and it ended up being a lifer for me. I don't think I could live without this scent for sure. So this next one I discovered online. I think I first heard Karina Waldron talking about this fragrance, and the way she described it being like a green vanilla. I absolutely love green vanillas, whether it's spicy or creamy. I'm just all about it. That's like one of my favorite scent profiles. So I decided to blind buy it on Saks, and I was so happy when I received this. Since that was a couple of years ago, I know they've changed the packaging, but this is the bottle that I have, and I adore this bottle more than the new ones, and that is Guerlain Angelique Noire. I am just obsessed with this bottle, with this packaging. I wish they would have kept the old bottles. I really prefer this. It's just more sleek with the gold and the black cap. But either way, I'm just happy to have this one. So this is a Angelica forward fragrance. Yes, there is vanilla in here, which is also at the forefront of the fragrance. But in the opening and honestly all throughout, you get this sharp herbal greenness, which is coming from the Angelica. Angelica can be very herbal, which I don't mind because I do love a greenness to a creamy vanilla. I believe there's also some pink pepper in here, also another great addition to a vanilla forward fragrance. So this one is just absolutely stunning. I could see this even being a wedding scent. It's just very elegant, it's soft, it's pretty, and I wouldn't consider it extremely feminine. It is a little feminine leaning, but it could be considered unisex for sure. This is definitely probably in my top 5 vanilla fragrances that I've ever smelled, and I just absolutely adore this scent with all of my heart. I really don't know what I would do without this scent because I have not found another Angelica fragrance. Maybe one from Arquiste, and that is the Architects Club, which is a little bit similar, but that one is definitely softer. This one does project and perform well on me, at least. I would say I get about 6 to even pushing 8 hours on this, which is kind of surprising because it is more of a fresh vanilla, but for me this lasts amazingly throughout the day. And this is just an absolutely stunning fragrance that you need to try if you like vanilla scents. That is my number 7, Angelique Noire. Now, despite all of the niche fragrances that I have in my collection and the love that I have for niche scents and niche fragrance houses, I definitely still love my designer fragrances. Regardless. This was a fragrance that I really fell in love with, again based off of YouTube reviewers. Paulina Shar always talked about this scent and how much her boyfriend loved it, so I decided to blind buy this as well, and that is La Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite designer fragrances. It is a super gourmand. You have vanilla, pear, some vetiver, I believe there's some woody notes in the base, but you really get the pear and vanilla in here. It is super sweet, but it's so decadent and juicy. I absolutely love this one. And this is another one that I've gotten plenty of compliments on. Mostly my designer fragrances are the ones that I get compliments on. So that just shows you something about the performance and the lasting power of these designer scents. You do really have to like your gourmand scents, your very sweet, rich, juicy scents. It's almost like pear tart, almost an apple-y tart too. There is a slight similarity to an apple note in here. It's almost giving a little bit of a caramel vibe as well. It's just absolutely stunning. It's a compliment getter. It's an easy reach scent for me. If I'm craving something sweet and I don't know what I want to wear, this is just an easy grab for me. Like, I could wear this anywhere on any occasion. Although it is a little bit sweet in the hot weather during the summer, I can still get away with it at night. So that is my number 6, La Belle. This next one is a fragrance that I feel like I feature a lot on my Instagram. I'm always posting this one. One, because it's very elegant and classic in style as far as the bottle design goes. but also the scent is just an easy scent profile for me because it is a powdery vanilla, and I also love powdery fragrances. And the fragrance that I'm talking about is Dans Paris from Celine. I am just head over heels for this, you guys. Like, some days, especially when I first got this, I had to stop myself from wearing it like literally every single day because I just crave it. I crave this fragrance. It does have vanilla, coriander, laurel blossom, which I have never smelled laurel tree or laurel blossom before, but I'm guessing that's what gives it that kind of powdery essence. You do get a touch of that coriander, so it is a little bit spicy, but it's a very soft, smooth spice. It's not sharp whatsoever. And the vanilla is just like almost a powdered sugar type of vanilla. Super powdery. You could consider this a gourmand, but it's not overly sweet in my opinion because of that spice and laurel blossom. I also love about this bottle is the cap is magnetic, so that's a nice touch. It has these beautiful ridges on the side here. It's just absolutely elegant to have on your dresser or on your nightstand, wherever you keep your fragrances. It is just absolutely beautiful. Another reason I may be drawn to this is because it does kind of have a slight scent of Play-Doh in it. If you guys grew up using Play-Doh, it has this like sweet, powdery, like cakey, almost plasticky scent to it, and I really get a lot of that in here, but that's something that drew me to it because it is a little bit nostalgic. So it's kind of a comforting fragrance. It's very relaxing for me. I like to wear this on rainy days, let's say, which happens a lot here in the summer in Miami, so this is a very comforting fragrance to me, and I also don't know what I would do without this. I have not found another powdery vanilla that could possibly replace this. This is my number 5, Dans Paris. This next one I discovered while I was in Italy after Aix-en in Milan. So I traveled down a bit more south into Italy with my boyfriend and we spent some time there. It's absolutely amazing, but we just happened to stumble upon this niche boutique in Sorrento, which I was not expecting there to be such an incredible store with so many brands, one of them being Electimuss, London. So I decided to purchase Trajan. Can we just have a moment for this bottle? I mean, this is just a work of art. The labeling here, the gold, the cap is also heavy. Sometimes you have a heavy fragrance bottle, but then the cap feels like plastic. No, this is also just as good quality as the bottle. You have this beautiful adornment here on the cap, which is also the same symbol as here on the front. Now, this fragrance just blew me away, I have to say. A lot of people kind of compare this to Baccarat Rouge 540. In my opinion, there is a slight similarity, but it is a completely different scent. Like, this is its own scent, completely on its own. I really couldn't even compare to that unless you maybe smell it in the air. You get a little similarity to it, just because you do have that saffron dominant note. It's also very airy and sweet like Baccarat. However, you have some herbal green notes. So this fragrance has a lot of sweet memories attached to it, and I'm really happy that I discovered this brand, and I can't wait to try more. I do also remember liking Mercurial Cashmere, but this was the one that really blew me away. After everything that I tried in that boutique, this was the one for me, and this is definitely a fragrance for life now. Okay, the one in the number 3 spot is the number 3 for me right now. It was a recent discovery of mine. I discovered this about 2 weeks ago. There is a new fragrance boutique here in Miami, which I'm so excited about because we really need this representation in this city. This is one of the best cities in the world, and I'm so happy to have another fragrance place that I can go to. So I'm really grateful that we have another place where I can go and discover new fragrances. It's really exciting for me. I'm gonna link their website down below in the description so you guys can go check it out. They do have a great selection right now, and I know that they've been adding on a lot of new brands, new fragrances. so they're always expanding and growing. I'm also going to link their Instagram because they are very active on their Instagram, which I really appreciate. So the fragrance I bought from them was from a brand that I have been wanting to try, but I just haven't had the accessibility to it. I haven't seen it anywhere, so I didn't have the chance to try them, but they did have some of the fragrances there I was really happy to see, and that was Jusbox. So the fragrance I picked up from them is Cheeky Smile. This one I just fell in love with immediately. I didn't actually buy it that day. I went back to an event there a couple weeks ago, a few days after I had first visited, and I just kept going back to this one. We tried all of the fragrances from the whole line, and this was just my absolute favorite. I couldn't leave without it. Even though the event we were there for wasn't for this brand, I literally couldn't leave the store without it, or I know I would have just been thinking and thinking and thinking about it, so I decided to pick it up, and I'm really happy I did. This has kind of a similar scent profile to the last one, Trajan, in that it does have that aromatic, slightly Baccarat Rouge vibe when you do smell it in the air. So this has Isoe Super, Ambroxan, Amber Extreme, and Cashmeran, which I do love some Cashmeran. I also realized I do honestly love Ambroxan. I didn't know what Isoe Super smelled like before until I tried this fragrance, but all of these notes together just give it this aromatic, ambery vibe, and it's very sweet yet airy at the same time. It's not gourmand by any means. It does obviously have a bit of a synthetic undertone to it just because of the notes, but I still absolutely love this, and it's a really unique one in my collection. And I also really do like the bottle designs. These are all inspired by music. As you can see, the cap here looks like a record, and this fragrance in particular is inspired by acid house, which is really interesting to me because I do love house music. It's probably my favorite genre of music to listen to, especially 90s house music. That's really my favorite vibe. So that was super interesting for me to find out about this fragrance, and this just happened to be my favorite out of all of them. But I can't wait to discover more because the lasting power, the projection on this is just amazing. It was 8+ hours. I have worn this to bed before and it was still on the next day, so that's super impressive, and I'm really excited to try more from the line. I really want to try the pink one. I believe it's Sirens and Sailors or something like that, but that's the next one on my radar from Jusbox. So that is my number 3, Cheeky Smile. And we're getting down to the last 2 on my list. The number 2 spot is held by a fragrance that I've loved for a long time. I always kind of kept going back to, but then I would forget about it. It would kind of fall into the background as I would discover new fragrances. But this is definitely one of the best fragrance houses on the market. One of the best niche brands in my opinion, and that is Initio Parfums. And the fragrance that I have here is one of the white bottles, absolutely stunning. That is Rehab. Rehab was not my first love from Initio. I would have to say that I really liked Psychedelic Love, Absolute Aphrodisiac, also Addictive Vibration was beautiful. But Rehab was just something that I always found myself going back to as I would re-smell all of the scents. This is a super relaxing fragrance. It has bergamot, lavender, patchouli, musk, cedar, and sandalwood. So these are a lot of notes that I love, especially the sandalwood, the musks, even the lavender. So this is a very calming and comforting fragrance again. Great for days when you're just laying on the couch watching TV, if it's raining outside and you don't have any plans. I love to wear this during those times, or if I just want something to kind of soothe and relax me, which I have needed these days. That's why this has become one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. I got this on my birthday. I was super happy about that. It was such a surprise. So I'm really grateful to have this one. It's just creamy, musky. You get a lot of sandalwood, bergamot, And this is a very unisex scent. When I first tried it out, it did feel that it was a touch masculine, but as I continue to smell it and now as I wear it on myself, I do find it is extremely unisex. It doesn't lean one way or the other for me, which I absolutely adore, because some days you want to feel feminine and pretty, and then other days I don't really feel the need for that, and I just want something that's going to make me feel good in general. And this is the fragrance for me. I've been reaching for this a lot lately. This is another one that I can't seem to put down, and that is my number 2, Rehab. And now that we've made it to the last fragrance on my top 10 list for life, this is definitely a fragrance I can't live without. It is a little bit sad because it's a limited edition fragrance, at least for now. I really hope that I can have this forever. I don't know what I would do without it. This is like my favorite scent profile. I love everything about this fragrance, the way it projects onto my skin, the way it lasts, how it smells throughout the day, how it changes. And the fragrance I'm talking about is from Fragrance du Bois, and that is Minuit et Demi. This is the fragrance collaboration between Fragrance du Bois and Demi. She is a fragrance content creator on YouTube, Instagram. You can find her on TikTok. She is definitely one of the best out there, and she has the best taste in my opinion. She created one of the most beautiful, spicy, gourmand scents on the market. I am absolutely in love with this fragrance. It was a blind buy. I bought this during the first launch of the fragrance at the end of 2020. Based off of the way she described it, the notes, everything just sounded super intriguing. And the experience with Fragrance du Bois is just ultimate luxury, so I had to have it. And now this has become one of my all-time favorite fragrances I've ever tried. This is why it's in my number 1 spot. So like I said, this is a spicy gourmand fragrance. In the top you have pimento, bergamot, cardamom, so there is a lot of green spice. You get some freshness from the bergamot. And then you have coffee in the heart, which you really do pick up. Coffee is one of the main notes that you smell in this fragrance. In the base you have vanilla, musk, cashmere, and tobacco. This is just divine. If I could give you a perfect fragrance in my head, this would be it. This is just my number 1 fragrance of all time. I love cardamom and fragrances. I love coffee, caramel, vanilla, tobacco. All of the notes are notes that I absolutely adore in fragrance profiles. So this is just like my dream fragrance, honestly. I don't know what I would do without this fragrance. I'm going to treasure it for as long as I can. I do tend to hold this for more special occasions, although I want to start wearing it more often because I do love this one, and it just puts me in a good mood. It gives me a boost of confidence, and I feel sexy when I wear this. So I'm definitely going to try wearing this more often, as it is one of my favorite fragrances. So if you like your spicy gourmands, you definitely need to check this one out. This is one of my all-time favorites. And although you do have a lot of vanilla and coffee in here, it's not everything that you get. It's a very well-rounded scent profile because of the cashmere and the woody base. You have a lot of tobacco in there, but it's all very smooth and blended well. Nothing too sweet, nothing too spicy, nothing too harsh. It's just the perfect amount of everything in here. I think that's another reason that this is my favorite, because it is blended so well. This really shines in the winter, in the cold weather. So as we are moving out of summer into fall, you definitely need to pick this one up, because that is the perfect time to wear this scent. And that is my number 1 fragrance for life, Minuit et Demi. That was my list for my top 10 fragrances for life. These are the scents that I cannot live without currently. I'm just absolutely in love with all of these. I'm grateful to have these in my collection. Let me know down below if you've tried any of these, if any of these fragrances are your favorite too. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.